How my mother almost ruined my wedding, and how my wife saved it. She had always tried to make everything about her, even my own birthday. She would demand gifts from me, saying that I owed her for giving me life. She would open my presents before I could, and take the one she liked for herself. She would overshadow every milestone of my life, from my games to graduation, with her loud and obnoxious comments. She would act as if my achievements were hers, and my failures were mine alone. I hated her for that. But I never said anything. I just bottled up my resentment and tried to escape from her as much as I could. I applied to the farthest university I could afford, and rarely visited home. I met Pia, the love of my life, at college. She was everything my mother wasn't: kind, supportive, genuine, and beautiful. She made me feel good about myself, and accepted me for who I was. Her family was amazing too. They welcomed me with open arms, and treated me like one of their own. They showed me what a real family was like. I wanted to forget about my mother and move on with my life. I thought I could handle her as an adult, and that she wouldn't bother me anymore. I thought I should invite her to my wedding, out of some sense of obligation or guilt. I thought it would be fine. I was wrong. I didn't realize how much I cared about my wedding until it was almost ruined by her. I had a clear vision of what I wanted: a traditional Indian wedding, with all the rituals and customs that Pia's family followed. I wanted to honor their culture and heritage, and show them how much I respected and loved them. I wanted to have a wedding that was about us, not her. But she didn't care about any of that. She only cared about herself. She had the audacity to ask me if she could wear white to the wedding, knowing that it was a taboo in Indian culture. She said it was a joke, but I knew she was serious. I told her no, in no uncertain terms. But she went behind my back and asked Pia for permission, pretending to be sweet and innocent. Pia, being the angel that she is, agreed without knowing the history behind it. When I found out, I was furious. I confronted Pia and accused her of being irresponsible and naive. I told her how my mother would try to steal the spotlight from her, and how she would look ridiculous in a long white dress among the vibrant colors of the Indian attire. Pia was shocked by my reaction, and hurt by my words. She didn't understand why I was making such a big deal out of it. She said she didn't mind if my mother wore white, as long as we were happy. That's when I realized how much this mattered to me. How much I wanted this day to be perfect for us, not for her. How much I feared that she would ruin it like she had ruined everything else in my life. I broke down and told Pia everything: how my mother had treated me growing up, how she had made me feel worthless and unloved, how she had taken away every joy from me. Pia listened with compassion and understanding, and hugged me tight. She said she was sorry for what I had gone through, and that she loved me more than anything in the world. We decided to communicate better with each other from then on, and not let my mother come between us. We made up and kissed, and felt closer than ever. But that wasn't the end of it. My mother kept trying to interfere with our wedding plans, calling us every day with suggestions and demands. She wanted us to change the venue, the menu, the music, the guest list. Everything. She acted as if she was paying for the wedding, when in fact it was Pia's parents who were generously covering most of the expenses. Pia suggested that we should uninvite her altogether, but her cunning little sister had a better idea: let her come anyway, but make sure she regretted it. She said we should not tell her that white was not the bridal color in Indian weddings, and let her embarrass herself in front of everyone. She said we should ignore her attempts to interrupt the ceremony or draw attention to herself. She said we should show her how happy we were without her. She said we should give her a taste of her own medicine. I have to admit that it sounded tempting. So we agreed to do it. And it worked better than we expected. On the day of our wedding, my mother showed up in a white ball gown that looked like a cheap knockoff of a Disney princess. She was stopped by the security guards, who thought she was at the wrong place. She threw a tantrum and demanded to see me, but I pretended not to hear her. She finally managed to get in, but she looked out of place and ridiculous among the elegant and colorful guests. Pia looked stunning in her red dress, with intricate henna designs on her hands and feet. Her hair was braided with gold accessories, and she wore a mata patty that made her look like a queen. I couldn't take my eyes off her, and neither could anyone else. My mother tried to ruin the ceremony by coughing, talking, and making faces. But she was met with silence, sarcasm, and shushing from Pia's relatives, who had been briefed by her sister on how to deal with her. They gave her cough drops, told her to be quiet, and escorted her to the bathroom when she became too annoying. They acted as if she was invisible, and focused on the rituals and the music. In the after-party, my mother tried to make conversation with Pia's parents, but they shut her down with polite but firm replies. They praised me for being a wonderful son-in-law, and said they were proud of me. My mother tried to talk to Pia, but she brushed her off with witty and cutting remarks. She asked her if she was sure she wanted to marry me, because I used to wet the bed. Pia said she was confused, and asked her if she was talking about herself. She said it was inappropriate for her to share her bedroom problems with us, and dragged me to the dance floor. We danced, laughed, ate, and enjoyed ourselves with our friends and family. We had the best time of our lives. By the end of the day, my mother looked miserable and defeated. She had failed to ruin our wedding, or make us unhappy. She had only made a fool of herself. I felt a surge of relief and joy when I said goodbye to her. I felt like I had finally freed myself from her shadow, and claimed my own life. It was the first time in my life that I had something that was truly mine. And it was all thanks to Pia. She was the best thing that ever happened to me. I feel so incredibly lucky to have married this girl.